Do you ever wonder how I can stay connected with people? We're in a very, very trying time in society. We've never gone through something like this before with COVID-19. Well, I am Gail Davis with the Endless Mountains Empowerment, and we have 21 days of virtual empowerment for you. I've asked a dear person, Mindy Hill, a yoga therapist. She is specialized in grief and stress, a wellness educator. She teaches healthy lifestyles. I've asked her to come with us today and take us on a journey and help us to connect up with the sisterhood, help us to really have self-care during this time of stress. And we're going to dialogue back and forth. And Mindy, I'm going to turn it over to you. Why don't you first tell us about your journey? How I know you weren't expecting this question, but how did you get involved with self-care and healthy living?
Hi, Gail. Thank you for doing this. This is fabulous. We much needed at this time, really. But always needed. But wow, this is really staying right on top of it is what I call it. So thank you, and I hope everyone appreciates what you're doing for them.
Thank you.
How I got a healthy lifestyle, for some reason, even as a young child, I was always interested in it. I was a vegetarian before that word was even around, and I would get in trouble from my mom. You have to eat meat, and I'm like, I don't like meat, and I would eat it because she told me to, and I'd sneak not eating it, and so I was always interested in wellness. And I used to actually, way back when it was weird, I would buy those books like Deepak Chopra and different wellness books and different ways of thinking and hide them under my bed because I didn't want anybody to know, like when I lived at home. And I laugh about that now, and I love sharing that because that's my whole entire library now is things on wellness and ways that we are whole body, mind, and spirit is connected. Everything from food to the way we think will affect our health, mental and physical. And so it's been a journey. 2006 is when I actually made it part of my career. I mean, I went from a yoga teacher training, not knowing that it was going to be my career. I was just doing it to advance myself down that journey. And that's, that takes me to where I am today. And I continue learning all the time. I'm always working on the next piece of education, and that's what I'm going to use some of this time for, this time that we have in our homes. I didn't want to call it stuck anymore. I saw something today and I loved it. Use this as an in-home retreat. If someone yes, if somebody gave you 2 weeks and said, either you're going to get paid for it or you're not, but you have to stay home, your food pantry is full, you're warm, you're cozy, you're connected, we would have loved that. We would love that, so let's love it. Let's use this time to do what you've been trying to do for the last, whatever years, and you're just too busy to do. So I'm going to finish a couple books, and I'm going to do some online courses.
Well, Mindy, this sounds wonderful. And you normally deal with grief and hospice. So I could see you bringing it over right now to the homebound, and we're all homebound. We're all self-isolating, and there's lockdowns all over the place. So tell us some suggestions how we can get through this, taking care of ourselves and having a positive mindset.
Okay, there are lots of suggestions, lots of things. We're probably maybe still in the panic mode. A lot of us. Hopefully, it's kind of settled in a little bit. It's almost like the new normal. Or if it hasn't, it will. But one thing that I tell so many of people that ask is keep some sort of a schedule, because we all thrive on a schedule. Children, adults, even if you don't think you do, it makes us feel secure. We like that. We know when we get up, we're going to have our coffee. We're going to get a shower. We're going to, whatever we're going to do. Now, obviously, we're not going to leave to go to work, but you could work on a book that you've been trying to work on for 30 years. You can work on helping somebody else, whether it's email, phone calls, make a list of 10 people you're going to call every day that no one else is going to call them. There's a lot of projects, and especially if you have kids at home, which I know several people do, get your kids involved. They're going to love feeling part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So that's have a schedule. I say get up early and do some type of prayer, meditation, self-reflection before you turn the TV on. so that you have that little quiet space inside, and the same before you go to bed at night. A little quiet healing, if you will, praying, singing, whatever it is that makes you feel connected.
You're an early riser, aren't you?
I get up really early. Oh, I've always had. About 4:40.
Yes. 4:40. I'm 4:30 to 5 o'clock. So whenever my natural clock wakes me up. But it is so productive to get up at that hour because, yes, for me it's prayer and meditation, but it really affects my mindset for the whole day. If I jump into the day rushing around, I
100%.
feel rushed the whole day.
Yes, because you didn't give yourself that little healing, quiet space. What it could be reading, it could be looking, it could be walking outside, it could be looking out the window, it could be just sitting outside, and just give yourself a moment to connect. And it only has to be 5 minutes. Everyone, I don't have time. You really have to. This is a good lesson for when this is all said and done too. To change your lifestyle, only a tiny bit, only 5 or 10 minutes. That's all it has to be. Journaling is huge. It's so healing. Get a journal right before you go to bed or after you go to bed. Or when you get up in the morning about how you're feeling, whether it's good or bad. You don't have to be a poet. Just put it on a piece of paper.
It's funny you're mentioning journaling because day 2 of the Empowerment Summit of Virtual Empowerment 21 Days, we have Carrie Verrocchio, who has actually given us a journal to download on gratitude. So it's one of our gifts from Endless Mountains Empowerment to our viewers. So yes, kudos to you for mentioning the journaling. I'm losing my voice right now, but.
And I have all my journals from like the 90s, and it's also very interesting and healing and fun to go back and see what you were writing about back then. And you see how much you've grown, because I'm thinking I wouldn't even write that now, So it's a great tool.
So you've talked about scheduling, you've talked about journaling. Give us some more ideas what to do.
Healthy eating. Now, I know we all want comfort food and we all want mom's macaroni and cheese. And I'm not saying don't have mom's macaroni and cheese and don't have chocolate. I would never be one to say don't have anything. If your body, your spirit needs a piece of chocolate to make you feel safe at this time, please indulge. And I never say indulge. I'm a yoga teacher and a fitness instructor. But this is the time I'm going to say indulge. To some extent, not to the extent where you feel crappy and lethargic, and then it's like a vicious cycle. The next morning you wake up, you have inflammation in the body, and that just, you don't want to get out of bed, so you have 6 cups of coffee, and we never want to live in that lifestyle. But you do indulge, but also really, this is a time when we want to protect the immune system. We always want to protect it, but now so more than ever. So eat your healthy diet. Again, if you want to stick some unhealthy things in there, the comfort foods, this is the time to do it. You never have to be so strict where you can never have a piece of pizza, never have macaroni and cheese. But this is the time to load up on the antioxidants, the greens, the plant foods, the power foods, the antioxidant-rich foods, and not processed. So I always preach, if you will, about healthy eating. It really affects our mood. People that have depression, anxiety, that just makes it worse. You can't sleep. If you did you ever eat too late and then you just had a restless night's sleep? Because your body's spending all that energy digesting instead of rejuvenating your cells. So that's whatever goes for healthy lifestyle goes 5 times 100 right now. So eating healthy.
You know what? I love that idea because right now, especially, we're homebound. And the other day, I looked in my cabinet and I looked at what foods I had. So I had some beautiful sweet potatoes, some fresh sweet potatoes. I had some onions, and I had carrots, and I had a tomato, a can of tomato chopped, whatever, with some seasoning, and I had a crock pot. And I thought, you know what, let me just Google these ingredients. And sure enough, I made a sweet potato bisque, basically. And it was delicious, and it was healthy through and through. So this might be a time to be experimenting with some great recipes.
That's another thing, we were talking about what can we do with this time? We feel so isolated. I love to cook, but I never really have time to do stuff like that. And that's a suggestion to all our viewers is look in your pantry, Google it. Look at this great time we're in. You can look up sweet potato, onion, black bean, whatever, and you're going to come up with something. And if you even want to write vegan at the end of it, because I do that all the time. I'll have like, oh, I feel like a lemon so-and-so, asparagus lemon sauce. And I'll look it up. There it is. You can find anything, which is so fantastic. Use these tools.
And Mindy, especially since many of the supermarkets are selling out of meat, in my local supermarket, lovely little local market, they have a sign up, you can't buy more than 2 pieces of meat. Well,
Right.
That's fine. The whole vegetable aisle is filled to the brim with fresh fruits and vegetables. So use this time to look at healthy eating.
Yes, and find some new recipes. And if you want to be really helpful, share them. Share them online. Share them however you share them, whether it's email, Facebook, Twitter, because there's other people out there that want to see some healthy news, some fun news, something exciting, and we want to talk a little about community. Do a little community book cooking club. You can go.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so how would we do that?
That just came to me, so let me think. So you can post on Facebook, you can go to your email list, you could call your friends, because I know everyone's not, on these social medias. But so if you're not on social media, do it through email, do it through phone, the old-fashioned phone. Call 5 friends. Hey, let's share a recipe, each week. We'll make it, and then we'll call each other back next Friday or tomorrow and say, we'll talk about how to take a picture, send it to them, whatever it is. But lots of people I know, these millennials, are doing Friday night cooking together, and they'll send each other a recipe, and then you have to video yourself cooking it. My son's in one, and it's really fun and ingenious. And you know what? For those 2 or 3 hours, you forgot about all the nonsense that's going on right now. You had fun. They're laughing. They're dropping onions on the floor, and they're right on live camera. You know what I mean? It's fun.
Oh, that sounds great. Talk more about community. Give us some other ideas.
So I started a community book club pretty much right when this started going down. Number one, for my own self-interest, because I've been trying to, I love to read, and I never have time because I'm so busy running around like a crazy lady. I always say I'm going to read a book a month, and next thing you know, I didn't. So I thought this is a great time to get some people together. We'll decide on a book. We're doing ours through email to start. So there's about 15 people that signed up for it. I picked the book, When Things Fall Apart, by Emma Children. And it's just a lot of advice for tough heart advice for difficult times. And it's excellent for a time we're going through now, but it's excellent for even when you're going through your own trials and tribulations. She talks about going through divorce and just personal things, obviously, because it was written before this. And so we're going to get together. We're reading the book, and at least once a week, but you can chime in any other time and say, hey, I'm on page 59. Did you see that quote? That fits perfectly for what we're going through today. Or this really spoke to me today. And everyone go back to this page and read the quote, and we'll be quoting things on the email that we love, quote of the day or something that really resonated with us. And it's wonderful. First, it's a little, not a competition, but it's like, okay, I have to read because I feel like I'm in school. You know what I mean? So it's fun. It's like, oh, I got to get to my book, and I leave my laundry go and I go get my book. So it keeps it's a positive way to use up that anxious energy that I think we're all feeling.
And along those lines of a book club, right now, there's so many different libraries that have books online that you can access. There's Kindle, there's also Audible that's offering a whole bunch of freebies. But I'm also thinking there's a program called Coursera. Have you ever heard of Coursera? It's an online university program, and right now there's a whole bunch of free programs, one of which is, I think it's through Yale, the Secret of Happiness. Or anyway, it's great that you could get your friends together to watch it, to participate, and then have group discussion afterwards. But even now, more than ever, community is so important. But instead of becoming a couch potato and looking at what the latest Netflix is, let's do something productive that can really skill up, train our brain, and open up those pathways, those neural pathways to better learning.
Absolutely. Can I say one thing on that note? I see a lot of, and I find it's really cute and fun and uplifting, is a lot of these people, I was going to say younger people, but it's not. It's everybody doing these ingenious ways of working at home with what you have. I saw yesterday on TV, they have kitchen ballet.
Okay.
So kitchen doing this, silly ballet dance with their kids. And it was a workout. I mean, it was a good workout. And I thought, how ingenious. So then you watch it and then you post your family doing kitchen ballet. I mean, it's just really cute. And then a lot of things I saw people doing in their PJs, kind of just symbolic of the times. And I never even watched TV, but my sister told me to put it on. Kelly and I forget who, remember Kathy and Kelly?
Right, Kathy Gifford, right.
Whoever Kelly is with now, they had their sweats on and they were working. He was in the West Coast and she was in the East Coast, and they were doing like we're doing. That's how they did the show.
I've also been told that if you wear your sweats or your PJs and you're working at home, you could occasionally try on your pants to see if they still fit.
We'll be doing that next week, right?
We'll be doing
in this, yes.
Exactly.
I like the idea. I've read several things about get up every day, get a shower, put your, like as if you're going somewhere. And I like that as a rule. But I think just for fun, because we're new into this, like I haven't not taken a shower in 10 years. And yesterday I just said, I'm going to be one of those people that I'm not even going to take a shower today. So it's the first time in 10 years, because I'm always up and out and, so you have to do, sometimes it's fun to break the rules, and do what feels good for you, but don't get in a slump. Let's not get in a slump. It's not going to be that healthy for us, for the people that need us. And no matter who you are, where you are, somebody needs you. There's a neighbor, an older lady in your neighborhood. There's someone that's shut in that is just waiting for your phone call, waiting for you to put a little card on her, on her a Porsche today, a picture, a text, anything. So I don't want, everyone is needed. Everyone needs to do their part, however small it is.
It's interesting that you've said pick up the phone, because how many people these days just text or just private message or just send emails or whatever. But I think this is going to pull us back to picking up the phone, hearing that human voice and saying, hey neighbor, how are you doing? Is there anything I can help you with?
And I think FaceTime, all the advances in our technology, people sometimes complain about, but FaceTime, I've always loved FaceTime because I have a son in LA and a son in New York, and I FaceTime with the dog. It's I don't have any grandchildren, they're not married, but we FaceTime more now than ever. We always did, especially the one in LA, because he'll walk through the city and show me. And so I feel like I would go to LA virtually every day. So it's fun, and I'll say, wait, what's that restaurant? Go back. And these are little things that you don't have to feel so stuck, and if someone does feel stuck and they're watching this now, it's also okay to tell somebody else, I'm really scared and I really feel stuck. I need help. I think we need more of that right now.
Well, in fact, today, day 4 is, as we record this, is Erin Golden, who is a clinical licensed social worker. And she says in her presentation, it's okay to admit that you're not okay. It's okay to say, hey, I need help. And it's okay to reach out. But if we can together as a community of women, of empowered women, because we are respectful and resourceful and resilient, if we can really come together and build a community, I can't imagine how the world won't be a better place when we get through this.
Oh, I so agree. I can start feeling little things trickling already, and I want to tell my people that my little circle, I read this today, I heard this today on something I was listening to. As soon as you get out of yourself with anything, but especially something so big, like immediately, I'll admit it, I was like, oh, my job, I support myself, Mom, like it was all me. And then, this is the whole world. This isn't me. So as soon as you turn it around and you're like, who can I help? Who needs my help? I'll be okay. I'll be okay no matter what. I'll be okay. Let me help someone who maybe won't be okay without a shoulder. I mean, there's going to be a lot of mental health issues after this.
PTSD.
Yes, during this. And there's people that are probably, suffering already, and now they have this. So we need to reach out to them as individuals, you know, and instead of being, well, me, what's going to happen, my finances. Okay, I'm in good company. So I turned that around after like the second day. I'm like, it is what it is. I'm going to see who needs my help. So I think that's
In
a good.
fact, I know someone that literally wakes up every day and says, okay, Lord, who can I serve today? And I think that is a wonderful attitude. Who can I serve today? Who can I help today? Who can I really be a light in a very dark world? And I think that'll change our attitudes. And I am just excited that you've joined us today, Mindy. So any final thoughts for the sisterhood as to how we can really practice self-care during this extreme time?
Just a few things to close with. Number one, don't be glued to the TV unless you're watching old comedies or old love stories or something that really fills your heart. Watch the TV to become informed for whatever, give yourself a strict schedule. I gave myself under an hour, and half the time I'm getting bored with it. I don't even want that hour, but I just do so I can be informed. And this is a time we're going to need to turn into self-love, good old-fashioned self-love. Take care of yourself, love yourself. You're doing a great job as a human already, without doing anything else. Let's give ourselves a pat on the back for being here, for doing this, for being who we are, and then going from there.
Wonderful. Mindy, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you for joining us. This is 21 Days of Empowerment, brought to you virtually by the Endless Mountains Empowerment. Thank you so much, Mindy.